Juarez, who was married on the steps of his church. In 1818, there was a man named Senor Mazza, of Italian descent, fair-skinned gentility, living on the street Garcia Viejo. There was a knock on his door. He goes, there's this little boy, Benito Juarez, age 18, had been orphaned at 4, didn't even speak Spanish, had just come down from his village the first time that day. Dark-skinned, full-blooded Zapotec Indian. He comes to this house because his sister is the cook for these people. They let him come in and be their hired boy, their mozo. And they realize he's intelligent, and they make sure he gets educated. He lives with them for many years, during which time they give birth to a baby daughter named Margarita. And the dark-skinned Zapotec bounces the fair-skinned infant Margarita on his knee. When Margarita grows up and becomes 17, she falls in love with the Zapotec. She marries him on the steps of this church, July 31st, 1843, at 6 o'clock in the morning. By that time, he had graduated from law school and been appointed a judge. He went on to become the governor of Oaxaca and the first and only full-blooded Zapotec Indian ever to become the president of Mexico, running for 3 terms. Back in the 1800s, the U.S. had shaken off. By 1800, in Mexico, the Catholic Church owned half the property, 2/3 the land, and they were the only bank. Priests were never tried in secular courts. They had a monopoly and vast wealth. Also, by then, the U.S. had shaken off the British, so colonial bonds were shaky. The French had had their revolution, and in the U.S. Constitution, separation of church and state. Benito Juarez was aware of all of this. When he came into power, he had the state confiscate church property. And it wasn't just the churches. In Oaxaca City alone, there were 1,400 residences, all owned by the Catholic Church. These were all put up for sale. The secular marriage became the important one. The churches were no longer the record keepers of it. You no longer had to pay a priest to bury your loved one in the cemetery. And the priests and nuns could no longer wear their long gowns out to the street. They could only wear it inside the church. And that restriction was only lifted in 1991. And you still hardly ever see it because, well, they got out of the habit. By 1865, you would think that the government, Mexican government,